certain mechanism, even providing some financial support. As I speak, one of the team is now in Lorelei, in Balochistan, checking out of one of the local NGOs who has received funding. Yeah. So again, I think overall, yes, they have played a good role, but there always are cases where the achievements are not really what had been kind of planned or had been agreed upon.
This 25A, that is very good sign, but we have also signed in many declarations and means then passing such laws and then including in the constitution. Do you think that it really makes a difference? For example, after adding this development and then we saw that how much the budget was added into education, we were very happy that the Prime Minister announced education year 2011 and then emergency. And then all the security issues we have. We see this now, the budget. Means if you think that just signing blindly and then may not translating into action will make a difference.
Of course, and that's why we have to do the advocacy. Continuously reminding the government part, and the government partners in terms of their commitments. Yeah, but it is important as a legal document. Yeah, it's the same. We can go back, and this is of course kind of the basis for much of UNICEF work, the Convention of the Rights of the Child. Yeah, signed in 1989, and one of the first countries who signed and ratified was Pakistan. Yeah, so these are important documents, but it's not just enough. There need to be a continuous kind of advocacy. And reminding everyone that yes, there is this commitment, you have signed, you have ratified, but we have to see. And again, I think civil society can play an important role. In the discussion with the parliaments, they are representing their constituency, their district. Yeah, so they, in a sense, are the voice for the inhabitants of their district. So they can say, yes, there are those commitments, but we don't see the reality on the ground. So something needs to be changed.
Apart from the government to take our education issue in Pakistan, there are some regional traits, you can say there are some regional dimensions, like there are some cultural issues, some political stagnancies and some other things. These are the elements that are also hindering with our educational process in our region. So what would you suggest that the steps can be taken at the government level to break this stagnancy? Because it is one of the biggest issues that is putting tab on the whole educational reform process.
I mean, that's one interpretation, but I don't agree fully with that one. But I think there is a big opportunity now with 18th Amendment, in terms of decentralization, And I've worked in countries where decentralization went not only to province level, but even down to district level or even to municipal level. Yeah, because in general, I would say centralized approach delays a lot of issues. Where a minister is involved for the recruitment of one teacher somewhere in a small village, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, and again, of course, we know favoritism issues. Yeah, luckily we see awareness, provincial education departments, to really go for merit-based appointments. Yeah, and I think that's a very, very important step in the right direction. Yeah, because it's like you as a parent, you entrust your child, your son or your daughter, to someone who's going to take care of your son and daughter for a big part of the day. Yeah. So you again as a parent, you can say, hey, I want to ensure that my boy or girl is in good hands. Yeah. So there is this relation always from the demand side, from the right holders and the supply side, the duty bearers. So government is a duty bearer, also teacher is a duty bearer. Yeah. And the right holder, in the end, is the child itself. He or she can, I always, when I go to schools, I hope I have an opportunity to talk to them alone. yeah, or see them. And if I see children smiling or singing, they say, oh, that's a good sign. Or when I ask, what do you want to be when you are grown up? If no one is saying a teacher, maybe there's an indication that it's not a real good teacher, it's not a real role model. Yeah? So again, this is coming back to the child-friendly school, very important component of participation. So where we have to involve the students also themselves in giving feedback. Okay, what type of education are you receiving? What type of education you would like to see? How can we improve? I've been to child-friendly schools in Ramya Khan, and I was very happy because when I was welcomed, there were 2 students, 2 girls, and they showed me the school. It was not the headmaster or the headmistress. No, very proudly. They showed me, they introduced me to everyone, the beautiful teaching, learning materials, the beautiful classrooms. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, that according to this education emergency report by Education Task Force, this the most left behind province is Punjab.
No, I don't think Punjab.
Sorry.
Balochistan, yes.
And then the report says that if they go with the same speed, the speed that they're found and everything, then
it will take 40 years or so. Yeah, yeah.
40, it's at the end of the century.
Yeah.
And then why? I think all international NGOs and many others and UN also knew about that this is the process going on. And why Balochistan was not focused? And even now, most of the NGOs are working on the rural agency working in Punjab, as you mentioned, in Sindh. And then why? And what's your thinking of the Nasser now?
Yeah, I mean, we have been in Balochistan for many years with our field office in Quetta, like in the other provinces. And we have been supporting, education with the generous contributions of various donors for a long time, and we will continue, and now even prioritizing, in terms of the development of the education sector plan. Yeah, I think again it's very important to have everyone around the table to avoid duplication or isolated projects, which then the money dries up and then everything falls apart again. Yeah, so to have a kind of more continuous and systematic, coherent approach. So that's why also, of course, Shinaz, the Pakistan Education Task Force, was with us in this meeting. So again, we, with our equity focus, we want to go to the most disadvantaged groups, and also, following the education indicators, where we see the lowest education indicators, to prioritize our actions.
So as far as the 18th Amendment is concerned, it has constituted the whole right to provinces. So theoretical framework has been achieved in the form of 18th Amendment. So have you seen some sign of willingness from provinces to let the education trickle down to the grassroots level?
I definitely have seen this, and again, we cannot work in all districts of all provinces. Yeah, so we have our target districts, and we are supporting, for example, together, actually within the one UN framework, UNESCO, on working on education for all plans and actions at districts level. Yeah, for example, in Balochistan, but then also in other provinces. So it is happening. I said this is a first step going from national, federal to provincial level, and we have to go further to more, decentralized approaches. The more local you are focusing in, the more change, through your actions you can accomplish. Yeah? Of course, it doesn't mean that at a national level there is no role to play. And this is a little bit an issue still, we don't know how at federal level, the role will continue of, Minister of Education doesn't exist anymore, but, you still have elements, of different groups. And again, it's very important, I think, in terms of providing a space for interprovincial kind of coordination, collaboration, to ensure also, a voice based on all the data and actions taking place at provincial level, at international level, if there are international conferences. Yeah, we're still talking about Pakistan. Pakistan is representing. Yeah? So it's important to have, the right people there who have, the background information. Yeah. So oversight in terms of standards, as I mentioned, we had this successful high-level orientation meeting last year on child-friendly inclusive education. Those standards have been agreed both by federal and provincial level, and we now need to roll them out into provinces, that everyone is aware and takes those into consideration, into account.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thanks a lot. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.